He weighed nearly 300 pounds. He was sitting on his couch, eating, working a job spraying for cockroaches in the middle of the night for a few dollars an hour. His life was over before it had started, and he knew it. Then, he saw something on television that night that changed everything, and he made a decision that should have been impossible. He was going to become a Navy SEAL, which meant losing over 100 pounds in 3 months. His name is David Goggins, and what he did to himself over the next 20 years made him, by his own design, one of the hardest human beings who has ever lived. Not because he was gifted, he had none of it. Abused as a child, a learning disability, a stutter, overweight, broke. He became unbreakable by doing the one thing almost no one is willing to do. He went looking for the suffering everyone else runs from. Tonight, how he did it and how you steal it for yourself.
Before Goggins changed his body, he changed how he talked to himself. And it wasn't gentle. He got a stack of sticky notes and a mirror, and he wrote the brutal truth on them. Not affirmations, not "you're amazing." The truth. You're overweight. You're lazy. You lied your way through school. You're scared. He called it the accountability mirror. Every single day, he stood in front of it and faced exactly who he was, with zero comfort and zero excuses. Because here's what he understood that most people refuse to. You cannot fix a lie you keep telling yourself. The world will lie to you to be polite. Your own mind will lie to you to stay comfortable. Goggins decided he would be the one person in his life who told himself the truth, no matter how much it hurt. That mirror was the first thing he ever conquered. And once he could face the truth, he went to war with his body. To qualify for SEAL training, Goggins had to lose almost 100 pounds in under 3 months. So he did something insane. Hours on the bike, swimming, running until his body broke down, and then running more. He didn't wait to feel motivated. Motivation was never coming, and he knew it. He just kept showing up to the pain. This is the core of his entire philosophy. He calls it callousing the mind. When you put your hands through hard labor, they bleed at first. Then they build calluses, and what used to tear you open can't touch you anymore. Goggins realized the mind works exactly the same way. Every time you do something hard that you don't want to do, you build a callus on your mind. Do it enough times, and the discomfort that stops everyone else becomes background noise to you. You don't get tough by avoiding suffering. You get tough by walking into it, on purpose, again and again. After becoming a SEAL, Goggins didn't stop. He started running 100-mile races, ultra-marathons, distances that destroy the human body. And it's there he discovered the idea that made him famous. He calls it the 40% rule. When your mind is screaming at you to stop, when every signal in your body says you're finished, you're done, you can't take another step, you are, in reality, only about 40% of the way to your actual limit. Your mind taps out long before your body does. It's a governor, a safety switch built to keep you comfortable. Most people obey that switch the second it flips. They feel the first wave of "I can't," and they quit. Goggins learned to hear that voice, recognize it for the liar it is, and walk straight past it, into the 60% almost no one ever touches. But there's a tool he uses to get there, and you already have it. When Goggins is deep in the pain, when his body is failing, and his mind is begging to quit, he reaches into something he calls the cookie jar. It's not real. It's a place in his mind where he keeps every hard thing he has ever survived. Every time he was counted out and didn't break. Every impossible thing he already did. When the suffering gets unbearable, he reaches in, pulls out a past victory, and reminds himself, "I have already done things harder than this. I am not the person who quits. You have a cookie jar too. Every brutal day you survived. Every time you were terrified and did it anyway. Most people forget those victories the moment they're over. Goggins banks them as ammunition for the next war. Your past pain isn't baggage. Used right, it's a weapon. There's one more piece. When someone doubts Goggins, when an instructor, an opponent, or the world tells him he can't, he doesn't argue. He does something he calls taking their soul. He outworks them so completely, suffers so far beyond what they thought was possible, that he breaks their belief in their own limits. He turns their doubt into his fuel. Most people crumble under doubt. They hear "you can't" and quietly agree. Goggins hears it and treats it as a challenge to be answered with proof. He doesn't need anyone to believe in him. In fact, he prefers that they don't, because their doubt is the cleanest fuel he's ever found. Here is what you cannot miss about David Goggins. He was not born with any of this. No gift, no advantage. A traumatic childhood, a stutter, a learning disability, 300 pounds, a dead-end job. By every measure, he was the last person who should have become what he became. And that is the entire point. He proved that toughness is not something you're born with. It's something you build, rep by brutal rep, by choosing the hard thing every single time the easy one is sitting right there. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting to feel motivated. It isn't coming. And Goggins would tell you, it was never supposed to. Go find the thing you've been avoiding because it's hard, and do that thing today. Build one callus. Stand in front of your own mirror and tell yourself the truth. The voice that says you're done is lying to you. You're at 40%. The 300-pound man on that couch could have stayed there. It would have been comfortable. Instead, he chose every single day for the rest of his life to suffer on purpose, and it set him free. Obey your vision.